Hey friends, welcome into your 40-minute kettlebell mobility practice today. We're just getting warmed up as usual, starting with our neck circles. So in your seated position, cross-legged on your knees, whatever feels comfortable, just doing some nice big full range of motion circles with your neck, going about 5 in each direction. And just taking this time to slow down a little bit before we get into the heart of the practice. Just assessing how your body feels, whether you're just waking up or this is the middle of your day. So following along with me here, we're going into some thoracic rotations, and all that means is you're giving yourself a hug and drawing big circles with the middle of your back. It should feel like a really good stretch between your shoulder blades. And you might get some good cracking and popping there. So we'll go into arm circles next. Both arms at once. We'll do about 10 forwards. Always remembering to keep your core engaged. Start to make them a little bigger at the end and then switch directions for about 10. From there, we'll go into our shoulder corkscrew motion here. So flipping one palm up while the other palm goes down. This is a really good internal and external motion for your shoulders. And it's going to keep them healthy and happy for a long time the more you do this kind of stuff. Moving on down to our knees. So you're thinking about keeping your ankles and your calves and knees kissing. They're lovers, so keep them together and just reduce the range of motion if anything feels a little bit off or sticky. But just drawing big circles both directions with your knees. Keep them smooth. Okay, from there, back down on the mat, and we'll go into our hip circles from all fours. As you're going through these, keep your fingers light pressure on your hands, and really feeling into that right oblique. We're turning your core on, starting right now. Switch to the other side, stay light on those hands. Finishing those up, one more circle. And we'll get into our wrists a little bit. Always good to prep those. So I'm just clasping my hands together, rolling them in both directions. Might feel a little bit awkward at first, but just go with it. And moving on to some palm lifts. So spreading your fingers wide on your mat, putting pressure into your fingers and lifting your palms while keeping your arms straight. And if one of these just happens to feel really good, you can stick with that one for the whole time. I've moved into some internally rotated palm lifts here. Obviously, don't go past your normal range of motion. Listen to your body. Okay, moving on. Grabbing your band if you have one. If you don't, no worries. But we'll put the band around your wrists and just get into some reverse lunges here. So we're warming up the lower body a little bit more and continuing to warm up your shoulders for what's coming up later in the workout. And it's pretty self-explanatory, but if you don't have a band, just bring your arms overhead as they are as you lunge backwards. And next, we're just going into some squat hold T-spine openers. So staying as low as you can in your squat. But remember, your knees don't come over your toes. And you're just opening up to one side. Thinking about keeping your low back fairly stable, and your upper back is what's rotating here. Almost like you're on a hinge. From there, we're going to warm up our rowing motion with the band. So left foot forward. I'm just stepping around the band. And you're just bringing your elbow back towards your right hip. Switch sides. Keeping your core tight, keep breathing. If you want to add a little bit extra, come into an airplane hover position and continue on with the same rowing movement. And next, band is just going right above your knees. Going into some bodyweight squats here. Sitting your butt back, squeezing your glutes at the top. Single side taps here, so out to the side and behind you, all on one side to start with. Back into your bodyweight squats. And we'll repeat the same pattern on the other side. So left foot taps out to the side and then diagonal behind you. Last little set of squats here. Drive through your heels to stand tall and keep your toes soft. Not quite done with the band yet. So on your back now, going into some single leg glute bridges. Right foot plants, left foot goes out straight, and we're doing our best to keep our knees in line with each other. For a little bit of an added challenge, bring your elbows up off the ground like I'm doing, because that's going to give you less stability throughout your core. If you want more stability, just bring your hands down by your sides, palms face the ground, and that's fine too. Almost done with this side. And go ahead and take your band off. So this time, just moving the band down to around your feet. Quick warm up for the core with some banded dead bugs. Again, if you don't have a band, no worries. Just do these with your body weight. It'll be the exact same motion. The band just adds a little bit of extra resistance. So grab your kettlebell or your weight from here. And we're just going to some preparatory clean to squat motion. Doing about 5 on each side. And switch arms. Nice work. Stay with me. The warm-up is almost done. It's almost a mini workout in itself, but you'll be feeling primed and ready for the workout to come. Nice job. Go ahead and set your weight down. And very last thing, going into some jump lunges. And done with those. All right, you guys, we're getting into the heart of the workout here. So our first exercise is a reverse lunge to a side lunge. We're doing this for 45 seconds on and 15 seconds in between for rest. So with this exercise, I'm starting with my left foot planted, and as you can see, starting with that reverse lunge and then going right into my side lunge. And this one is cool because you can use whatever kind of weights you want here. You can use a dumbbell in front of your chest, a kettlebell, 2 dumbbells, 2 kettlebells. It's really up to you. You can also just do body weight. Nice job. Keep it going. End of that round. So we've got 15 seconds of rest before the next exercise. So this next one is a high pull to a clean to a 1 1/4 squat. Works best with a kettlebell. So we've got this high pull first. You're leading with your elbows into a quick clean and then a 1 1/4 squat at the bottom. With your high pull, make sure your core is engaged and that you're really pulling from your elbows. And right here, as we go into our 1 1/4 squat, think about pulling yourself down into the squat and not bouncing. So you're still using the strength of your legs. It's a controlled movement, and you're not just bouncing out of it, hoping for the round to be over. But take your 15 seconds of rest now. Moving on to our next exercise. So here we've got a staggered stance lunge to a single arm clean. In this case, my right foot is forward, so I'm kind of dipping and driving as I bring the kettlebell up into the clean, and then you do a full lunge once the kettlebell makes it up to your shoulder. You can also do this with body weight and just take the kettlebell clean out of it, or you can use a dumbbell. Nice job. Getting to the end of this round. They go quick, 15 seconds of rest. And for this next guy, we've got a foot elevated pullover. So I am using a kettlebell for this. And you don't have to have your feet elevated, but I like to because it's an added challenge. So you're really focusing on keeping your lat muscles engaged. And in order to do this, you're thinking about squeezing your armpits with your shoulders. I'm switching legs here. And only bringing the weight or the kettlebell back behind your head as far as you feel like your range of motion allows. Don't push anything, don't strain anything. If it doesn't touch the ground all the way, that's totally fine. And coming out of that, this is our second to last exercise and a killer for the hips. So you're swiveling your feet over an elevated surface, basically. So this can be a block, it can be your kettlebell like I'm using. But the idea is to use your really deep core muscles to keep your knees together, knees and ankles kiss, and bring your feet over one side. And I'm just adding some seated presses in here at the end. It's a good complement to the leg swing overs. You can try holding for about 5 seconds and shake that off. Get your weight out of the way, and we'll move on to the last exercise in this round before our rest. So with this one, your back foot is elevated on a surface. You're holding a low lunge here for 5 to 10 seconds. And then if you're comfortable with it, you'll be jumping up into an explosive knee drive. Not doing what I did and almost falling over. Make sure your core is engaged. The first few of these are always a little bit awkward, just to get the movement down, because it is very explosive. Looks like my foot was cramping up there, so your toes can be tucked under or they can be flat. It doesn't matter too much. And come on out of that. Nice job. Take your rest. Okay, you guys, we are getting into round 2. Starting with the same movement, but using the opposite leg now. So on this round, our right foot will be planted. Looks like I'm having a moment, just composing myself. Goblet hold with your weight. So reverse lunge to side lunge. Like I said, with the right foot staying planted this time. Here is another angle so you can kind of see how the movement looks from the side. So coming out of your reverse lunge right here, you're driving through your right heel. And then in your side lunge, pushing off your left heel. My torso's not staying completely upright in the side lunge. As you can see here, I'm kind of coming down at about a 45-degree angle. And nice work. 15 seconds of rest. Okay, getting into it again. We've got our high pull, kettlebell clean, 1 1/4 squat. Making these movements nice and quick and sharp, but controlled. You're thinking about spreading the ground apart with your feet as you go into this squat, and that will keep your glutes engaged throughout the movement. Core is still engaged during your high pull and the clean. You might be feeling the backs of your shoulders by now. That's totally normal. I definitely was. And put your weight down, shake that out, rest for 15 seconds. Getting set up for our next exercise. We've got that staggered stance lunge to the clean. So a little dip and drive. Rack position, full lunge. With this exercise, since my left foot is forward, I'm thinking about squeezing my right glute, so you should be too, and that's going to help keep your torso upright, keep your butt engaged. Nice job, almost done with this exercise. And rest. 15 seconds here. Getting ready for our elevated lat pullovers. So foam rollers work great for these, but like I said, you can also use a block or a stack of books. Your couch really doesn't matter too much. But if you are elevated, I don't want you to be arching your back in this glute bridge position. So make sure that your pelvis is tucked under and that your core is still engaged. Switch legs if you're doing the single leg bridge version. Nice work. Come on out of that, and we've got our last exercise, second to last exercise. Forgive me, don't want to forget these. We've got our deep core switchovers. And I'm doing another variation to start this round off that's a little bit less intense, so you can walk your legs over one at a time like I was doing, or you can keep your ankles together and do the original swivel version. Nice job, almost there. Add in that seated press if you want a little bit of extra fire right at the end. Okay, moving on for real, last exercise now. Grabbing your chair or whatever you're using. This time we'll have the right foot planted and getting into that explosive split lunge here. So 5 to 10 second hold. Add that hop. With these, one side will definitely feel easier than the other. And again, if you don't want to add the hop, that's totally fine. You can just go into a normal Bulgarian split squat, which is where you would just be coming up and down with your back foot elevated and eliminating the jump. Nice work. Take your rest. Okay, round 3. We are more than halfway through this thing. So starting again, reverse lunge to side lunge. You should know this movement pretty well by now. So going back to that original foot, left leg is the stationary leg. Right foot is moving in and out of your lunge. Try and keep a nice consistent pace with these. I know your legs are probably starting to feel it by now. Almost there. Keep going. All right. Rest. Get your arms ready for the high pull and the clean. And here we go, starting with the high pull. Nice work, you guys. Remember, not gripping the ground too hard with your toes. Keep your toes soft. You're distributing the weight evenly throughout your foot, driving through your heels to come up out of your squat. All right, done with those. Getting ready for our split stance, lunge clean combo here. Or not. Looks like I'm going with the heavier weight. Feeling ambitious on the third round. Good. So keeping your right foot in front the whole time, driving through that right heel to come up, squeezing your left glute. And with your clean, you're leading with your elbows. So it's like you're zipping up a sweater. Nice work. Okay, done with that one. We've got our pullovers next. Ready, set, go. Getting into this one. For an extra challenge, you can do what I'm doing and add the rollout if you're using a roller for this. You'll definitely hit your hamstrings pretty hard if you decide to do that. Looks like I stopped already, but if you want to keep going, be my guest. Just remembering to not hyperextend your back. So your pelvis is still tucked, your core is still engaged, belly button towards your spine. Nice work. Safely come out of that. Bring your weight to the side. Second to last exercise here for the core. And an important note with these, if you're sticking with the variation of your knees and ankles together, is to not lean back too much. And of course, as I say that, then I start leaning back. So this is another version you can do where the lean back is part of it, where you're kind of doing this crunch motion. But if you are just doing the lift over, like I'm doing here, you're trying to keep your upper body fairly upright. Other option here is that walkover, one leg at a time. That will be a little bit less spicy for your hip flexors. Okay, nice work. Moving on to that last exercise. Grab your chair. No weights here, just body weight. Holding that low lunge and adding the hop if you feel like it. Even if it's just a centimeter off the ground, I encourage you to try it. No harm in trying, and if you find that it's definitely not for you, then you know, and you can try it again at another point. Almost there. Keep holding. Nice work. And take your rest. Okay, if you are still with me, I'm so proud of you. We are on round 4 now. You're doing awesome. So, getting into this first one, you probably know what's coming. We've got that reverse to side lunge. Right foot plants this time, left foot is moving. As your muscles are probably feeling a little bit more fatigued, don't be sloppy with these. It's still controlled. You're not just flinging your leg out to the side and hoping for the best, but really feel the push off in your left glute when you come out of your side lunge. Upper body is still engaged. If you're holding that dumbbell, you're keeping your elbows into your side. Nice work. Set that down. Rest before we've got our high pull. Here we go. Nice work. Still leading with your elbows high. quick clean right into your squat. If you don't feel like adding the quarter squat to your squat, which I have no idea why you wouldn't feel like doing that, but if that's too much, feel free to just go into a normal goblet squat and take your rest here. You are done with those for the day. Next up, we've got our split stance clean. Dip and drive, clean the bell up, full lunge. Try to stay high on your back toes. You're still driving your left heel into the ground. Squeezing your right glute. Nice work, almost there. And come on out of that. Great work. Okay, grab your roller if you have one. Last time for our lat pullovers. Again, another variation, if you want to add more hamstrings, is that double leg rollout. So major core work happening here too. You're working a lot of different muscles. So give it a try, see how it feels. Only a couple more seconds here. And safely come out of that, roll to the side. So awesome, nice job. Last round of our hip flexor hell here. Keep the integrity in your upper body. You're not hunching your shoulders towards your ears. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed, your jaw relaxed. And just keep taking big breaths. Your quads might have an epic cramp at some point, but if you keep breathing, it will encourage them to not. It will encourage your muscles to relax a little bit more. Keep it going, almost there. Nice job. I look pretty happy to be done with those. Okay, we've got our last exercise. Grab your chairs, grab your ottoman, whatever. We've got that hold and then exploding through your front leg. And think about pulling your knee into your chest rather than pushing off the foot. So it's an explosive pull into your chest, into your belly button. Looks like I'm definitely feeling these, getting a little bit tired, but we're almost there. Nice work. Last one. Take your rest. All right, awesome job. You made it through. Let's just get into a full body little cool down stretch here and some breath work. So I've clearly just started by sprawling out on my mat, and we'll go into a figure 4 stretch. So taking your left heel over your right knee. Think about keeping your left knee pressing away from you. You should feel this in your left glute. Just hold and breathe. Switch sides. Okay, coming out of that, taking your legs wide, we'll just go into a little forward fold motion here. You can bring your arms forward, kind of wiggle your butt side to side. It doesn't have to stay static. And then we'll go into this interesting cross stretch here. So bringing your left heel over your right knee, left arm comes behind your back to grab your right fingers if you can. And then we'll switch sides here. Keep breathing. And getting into a low lunge here, we'll stretch out our hip flexors that we use so much with all that core work. You're squeezing your left glute, clasp your hands in front of you and think about pulling your fingers apart. You should feel a really good stretch in your upper back and that left hip. If you can, reach back for that left foot, pull it towards your butt. Getting a little bit of quad stretch here as well. Coming out of that, switching sides. Adding that upper back stretch if you want. Flipping our hands inside out for this one. You can add that lean to the side if that feels good. And then reaching for your back foot. Think about pressing your foot into your hand. All right, come on out of that and we'll just finish with some quick breath work. So come into your seat and with your eyes closed, begin to focus on your breathing. Take in a nice deep breath through your nose and feel it fill up your lungs. Feel your belly fill up with air and then let that go. Feel your body sinking in to the softness of your mat. Keep breathing in and out. Slowly and calmly. And when you're ready, begin to open your eyes and we'll finish with some neck circles. Thanks so much, you guys. See you in the next video.